Let me get pretty.
And let me see here.
Hope my son doesn't wake up.
Yes, it's all right. And if you have to stop and deal with something,
No,
that's
I know.
okay too,
He just
because
started coughing. I don't know why, but
we all know how it is. Okay, I'm going to mute everybody. Allow participants to unmute themselves if they need to. Yes. I'm going to unmute Heather because that's kind of important. And that's it. Let's get started. So, hi, everyone. We're going to try and really keep this. We're going to be done by 8 before Heather turns into a pumpkin. I really appreciate you showing up. We've got a mixed group from my big team here. So some are just on my small team, Team Driven, and some are from Fit and Fearless, our big team. And I'm really excited to have her join us today. She's been a coach 4 years, and she's a diamond. She hit Team Builder last year. She's an SC All-Star. And did you hit Success Club in January? So now you're an All-Star legend, right? Congratulations. That is an impressive feat. If you guys don't know what that is, it is 12 months successively of hitting Success Club to be a SC All-Star, and it's 24 months to be an All-Star legend. And the reason why this is my favorite award is not just because I earned it and I'm tooting my own horn too, but because I think it's the most important thing for this business because it shows consistency. So I think it is more important than any of the other recognition we get because it shows you who shows up on good days, on bad days, through pregnancy, through anything that you're going through. You're showing up and you're doing things, as I always say. So she's going to talk to us tonight. She's also a working mom, a dental hygienist, and she's having baby number 2 here this summer. And so I always look at people like this as like you're some weird species, but as like instead of like how does she do it, I just think like why not me, right? Because all of us are busy in our own ways, but the nice thing about hearing someone else's perspective is seeing that it's possible for you to do this also, no matter what's going on in your life. And it's the things that are special and unique about you that make people want to work with you. I think that's the most important thing to remember, because sometimes we can think there's so many coaches and there's so many this and there's so many that, but no, there's nobody else who's you. You know, the people who are the ones that you want to work with, or your tribe, are going to find you by you being you. And then to kind of get into what we're talking about tonight, uh, once you find your tribe, how do you encourage them to become better coaches, to grow your team, and to develop into their own powerhouse? My friend AJ on my team said the other day that she showed me a picture of her vision board, and there was a quote on it that I absolutely loved, and it said, "I want to be a leader of leaders." And I thought that that is exactly what I want. I don't want a tribe of people following me um, just because they think that I'm something special and they're kind of following passively. I want a tribe of people who are successful as I am or more so. So we're going to get into that a little bit tonight. And with that said, I'm going to turn it over to you, girl. I'm going to mute myself now.
okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, Amanda, first off, thank you so much for having me host this call. I'm so excited. I did this for our team a couple weeks ago. We are a very small little team. I am here in New Jersey. Like Amanda said, I am a dental hygienist. My husband is a New Jersey State Trooper. I have a 1.5-year-old son, and I am currently 21 weeks pregnant with baby number 2. So, which is all kind of part of my story. And to kind of piggyback off what Amanda said, I kind of really started off like probably a lot of you on this call, like really nervous about getting into this business because I wasn't a mom. I felt like I had nothing like fun or special to give, or I don't do anything cool. But at the end of the day, your people are going to be attracted to you and the type of person you are. Yes, I have, and I've been told it's also not necessarily always a good thing, but I have tons of friends. I have a lot of people in my network, people I went to high school with, in college. I cheered. I was in a sorority. So I have a lot of people in contact with people, and we all kind of like grow and grew up with each other. But we all have something unique to give. And again, there's 400,000, right, working coaches in this business. And, there's 7 billion people on this planet. So there is going to be people for you. There's people going to be for me and for Amanda. And, just because we're all on, the same teams doesn't mean that we're all going to basically attract the same people. You attract who you attract. Again, too, it kind of goes along with, your story that you share. It's really all about sharing, because if people don't know who you are, how do they know that they're going to connect with you when you randomly reach out to them, say, hey, come join my challenge group? Well, they have no idea what you're doing or who you are or what it is that you do, because you're not sharing it and talking about it. Um, so when like I said, when I first started, I also didn't have a huge weight loss, journey. I didn't have a huge story to share at the time. I just kind of recently was married and just basically, like everybody else, did every fad diet, went to the gym, thought I was doing something, or thought I was eating right, but I really wasn't. So you just got to find the things to talk about that when you first started off, and what attracted you to, if Amanda's your, what attracted you to Amanda or whoever your coach is, what attracted you to say yes to them, and kind of put yourself back into who you were. And then as you go as a coach, your story develops and grows. And again, that's all about sharing whatever you are comfortable with. We all have things that we don't like to talk about on social media, and by all means, we shouldn't, because it's personal and it's up to you how open you want to be. There's a huge part of my story that I do not share on social media, because it's not my story to share. And probably at the end of the day, I'm probably still a little ashamed, a little embarrassed about it. But again, it's no one else's business. But behind the scenes, I do talk about it, especially with my team. My team knows everything about me. I'm sure all of you guys, when you guys do your retreats and your team calls to learn about each other, everyone knows everything about each other, right? Um, so when, for me, part of my story was that I went through 2 years of fertility treatment. And for 2 years, and that's actually when I first started coaching, and I struggled a lot because I was so focused on that. I was so distracted by that, that I didn't share any of that on social media, because it was just very personal, right? But at the end of the day, there's so many women out there that go through this. And I actually did not come out with that story until I was 20 weeks pregnant with my first son. So I waited a long time, because I also wanted to make sure my husband was comfortable with me sharing it out publicly. Obviously, friends are very close. Our very close friends and our family knew what we were going through, but the rest of the world didn't. But in those 2 years, I made so many connections with other people, and other women that I went to college with, and meeting in these fertility groups that, and they necessarily weren't. I wasn't targeting them as coaches, but just those relationships. And at the end of the day, that's what it really means, to be a coach. It's not always about the success club points and the trips and all. Obviously, it's all nice, those shiny things that they dangle in front of us, but at the end of the day, it's all those relationships that you create. And in the grand scheme of things, maybe one day that might be your rock star coach, and might be your diamond in the rough. You just never know. So anyway, I'm gonna switch over to my PowerPoint, and I'm going to try and get through this as much as I can for you. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to unmute yourself, ask questions in the chat. I also tend to talk really fast. I ramble. It's the Jersey girl in me, so I apologize. And the hands, I'm Jewish and Italian, so it's really, really bad. It's all everything. Everything is all together. So I hope and I would also appreciate any feedback, you guys, from you as well. So please, by all means, chime in. Amanda, you too, chime in, anything. Because when I share my screen, I'm not gonna be able to see you guys. So let me open this up. I'm gonna share my screen. All right, so you guys can see this, right? We're all good. All right, I'm gonna minimize this just so you can see. Oh, now I can't see myself or anybody else. Okay, I'll put you up top here. Amanda, you're at the top there. I can't even see myself, so it's fine. All right, so how to recruit rockstar coaches. Again, side note, Like Amanda said, I am a diamond coach. I've been a diamond coach probably maybe about 3 years. I can't really remember. It comes and goes, but I'm pretty like stable with my diamond rank. Um, and I put this call for our team because we're really focused on recruiting and trying to build our team. And we want to, as much as we want to encourage our girls that we have now, they're kind of just hanging back. So my girlfriend Nicole, who's my coach, she's my success partner. We're business partners. We do everything together. So you might hear me talk about her a lot because we do things all the time. And we're really focused on kind of basically in a way lesson release and kind of really finding new women that want to work, that truly want to work this business with us, because we have, you know, big goals. I'm sure like we all do, we all have big goals for ourselves. Okay. So when, especially with my team, we always have to talk about the 4 vital behaviors because I always feel like we kind of slack off on this. I know me personally, I do not, because I've made this a non-negotiable for like the last year because I knew there was things that we were missing. So I always present these calls like, what are the 4 vital behaviors? I treat it like a classroom, and I call the girls and I have them list them for me. I'm sure all of you guys know what the 4 vital behaviors are, that you must be doing these. Like it's just, which is, you know, you're working out, being a product of the product, you're doing your personal development, which I know a lot of us always tend to slack on or put to the side. But it really, I've definitely noticed, and all coaches will say they've seen a huge shift in their business by doing personal development. I've definitely seen a difference in myself, and I think also the way I present myself, therefore attracting um, more or other more and different people. So, with those 4 vital behaviors, like you have to ask yourself, are you doing them? Are you using your business activity tracker? That was another game changer for myself these last couple of months, was using those sheets. Um, Here, and actually, I know Savannah's on the call with us, and she was at our retreat a couple weeks ago in January that we did. But I went to Staples and I had mine bound. Nicole at Summit gave these to us as part of our gift, and I just kept going with it and keeping them all neat and clean in one place, literally staples.com. And it's kind of annoying to do it, but you literally can make one for the whole entire year. So you have 52 pages for the whole year. And I keep all my notes. I am type A anal, and checking off boxes is beautiful for me. So this is great. Really helps, you know, me track, which I'm also awful at. As much as I am a type A, I'm a scatterbrain, and I need something. I basically just need someone to help compile the last 4 years for me and put it into Streak. That's what I know what I need. And then what else? So this quote I got from Emily Faber. This is a combination of her and Ashley Laughlin's training videos that I watched to put this together for our team. So she says, you know, you kind of sort of get results when you kind of sort of try, right? You can't be all in if you only have one foot in the door and the other is hanging out over here. It's just not going to work, especially if you want to work this business. Okay, so things you kind of want to ask yourself, you know, what kind of coach are you right now? You know, have you ever recruited before? Are you consistent, or you feel like you haven't really found your voice? You know, are you the type of coach that adds, you know, every month to people who's on your dream team, right? We all have an idea of who we want. Or are you that all in go coach and you add at least 5 members a month? So I probably fall somewhere in between number 2 and 3. But the fact is I'm consistent. I think I've found my voice, but also again, what Amanda was saying earlier is about being a leader, and that's my goal for this year, is being a better leader. Therefore, I put this training together as, you know, me moving forward and really helping you know, push our team, and as opposed to just constantly relying on my girlfriend Nicole and taking initiative, right? Um, and, obviously I've been hitting Success Club. It's non-negotiable, at least Success Club 5 every month. But they're not necessarily working coaches, or they're discount coaches, or the people that sign up and then they cancel. It happens to all of us, happens to me. I basically have a downline of like 38 or 39 coaches, and maybe one of them is an actual working coach who's hitting Success Club and making sales every month. So again, my goal is to um, really get more of her. She is my diamond in the rough. She is my dream team. So I have to find more of her. So she's my future diamond, and that's what we are working on this year, is to get her there. So you got to think about things that are what's holding you back. We're going to go through all 4 of these things, and you just kind of have to think about, do you agree or disagree with these things? I don't believe in Beachbody and coaching. Well, if you don't believe in Beachbody, you don't believe in coaching, then you don't belong here. Sorry, guys. My team is called Team Tough Love. I love you, but I'm gonna give it to you straight. I'm a no bullshit, no excuse kind of person. And honestly, if I'm not going to waste my time, if you don't want this, then that's fine, right? That's totally up to you. That's the beauty of this business. You can do this as much or as little as you want. But if you don't believe in what Beachbody is, what it stands for, and what it does for people, um, you know, and you don't believe in the coaching opportunity and what it can do for people and the potential, and also for yourself, then you don't belong here. You don't belong as a coach. And why are you doing Beachbody just because it's like the next thing, like the coolest thing to do because everyone else is doing it online, and then you're just going to move on to using the Peloton like everybody else. Another thing is, right, am I right? I'm getting a little nervous here, people. But another thing is that you don't believe in yourself. Obviously, that's a big thing. You don't know who to attract, and I don't take enough action. So these are all things that you want to think about and kind of evaluate yourself. And it doesn't matter if you kind of agree, kind of disagree. It's just a kind of way to assess yourself and where you are in your business. Because if you don't really know where you are, then how do you have a direction of where you want to go and what kind of team you want and what kind of working coach you want? Okay, so the first one is I don't believe in it. So, like I was saying before, if you don't believe in Beachbody, see you later. Like you don't belong here. We don't. If you're not going to be a product of the product, and if you're not going to use the workouts, you're not going to use our products, then how are you going to be a coach to showcase all these things and what this business does for us, right? So it's literally the 3 things: your nutrition, your workouts, and the community that we have, and literally talk the crap out of all 3 of those things anytime you're sharing and posting in your stories. But sometimes people, when they think of recruitment, it seems kind of icky. I'm not going to lie. I was that person, especially like the first couple of years. I'm like, ugh, recruit. Like, I don't want to recruit coaches. Like, that just sounds like, so it doesn't like sound right. It doesn't feel good to me. But then when you really think about it, you really just have to change your mindset about recruitment and what it means. So think about when, if you guys have older kids in high school, when they get recruited to a college, that's not a bad thing. That's freaking awesome if they want to get recruited to a college, right? Um, Same thing when you get emails from Indeed or from recruiters about a job. How awesome does that make you feel that someone wants you to work for them based off of your resume, right? So that's, again, not a negative thing, it's a positive thing. Again, obviously, I relate a lot to this one when it comes to sororities and fraternities. It's literally called Recruitment Week. We literally rush and recruit young women to be, in our sorority that fit, our group and the type of people that and again, Nicole and I actually, the way we know each other is because we are sorority sisters. She's older than me. We're never really in school together, but that's how we know each other. But we talk all the time that like doing Beachbody feels like we were Zeta to Alphas at Stockton College down in South Jersey here. And it feels like we're back in ZTA. that community of women. We get together each week. We do things together. We're at the end of the day, we're all striving to be better women, and also, helping be better for the world and helping others. Um, so again, it's not a negative thing; it's a great thing. So change your mindset about recruitment, and kind of treat it as such, especially if you've been in a sorority, so you kind of know and understand the feeling of it, um, and kind of get yourself back into that, because I know for me, being in CTA was my happy place, especially during recruitment. I was actually like on panel and all that kind of stuff, so I was pretty involved, in my sorority. Um, at the end of the day, this is a beautiful gift that we have, and it's an honor, right, to be able to be a coach. And again, at the end of the day, there's 400,000 working coaches. Some of us are hitting it at the top 10, and some of us are at that bottom 400. So some of us that are at the bottom 400, like, they're not necessarily working it as much. So think about it, like, there's not, like, if all 400 of us were working it, then like all of us would be on the call together, right? So there's not everyone can do what we do. Like, that's true, but there are people that can. Um, and you always constantly want to be sharing about coaching. And again, this is something that I reflected and looked back on, and I realized I was not talking about, like, we don't talk about coaching enough. I guess we're just so scared and nervous that it's going to come off as this, like, oh, you work in MLM and you're trying to recruit me for your pyramid scheme and get me on your team and all this kind of stuff. Well, at the end of the day, yes, I want you on my team, but there's a reason why I want you on my team and not this person sitting over here, right? There's a reason why I reached out to you and not somebody else. But we have to talk about it more, because I think people don't know enough about it. So when you go to present it to them, they have no clue what you're talking about. Again, because they're not seeing what you're doing. And obviously, I don't follow any of you guys, and just meeting you guys for the first time. But I know some girls on our team, they don't share enough, and we tell them this all the time. Like, you're not sharing and posting and showing the behind the scenes enough. And you want to share, the physical part about it, the emotional side, the financial aspect. Don't be afraid to talk about finances. You literally do not have to be like, hey, I made $200 this week. Like that's we're not going to do, right? But you say, listen, this, I was able to buy, gross, like, we're, able to buy groceries for the week. Or my son, he does swim lessons, so it helps pay for his swim lessons each month. Last week I did a post. I, as a dental hygienist, I temp a lot, so a lot of times my hours get, they get cut, and if I don't work, I don't get paid. So I walked into an office, I was supposed to be there for a full day. I get in there, I'm only working till 12. So I it was almost like half a paycheck for me, and I was kind of bummed. But then I checked my paycheck from Beachbody, and it was basically the same paycheck that I got that day for that job, and it kind of made up for it. And I talked about that in my post. So, as even though I love my job and I love what I do, there is some downside to it, but yet Beachbody was here to help make up for it and make me feel better, and also know that I have that financial security for my family. And also too, so again, a lot of us are, friends with people that we work with. Maybe your bosses are on social media with you and they follow you, which is great. But if you're miserable at your job, you hate what you do, you don't like people at work, obviously you can't really talk about those kinds of things on social media. But those are things that you can have private messages with people on the side, people that might relate to what you do. um, again, case in point, like I talked about, like my fertility journey, those were all private conversations I had, with other people. I'm going to use Nicole as an example. My girlfriend Nicole hates her job in corporate, but she does not talk about that, on social media. She just always talks about how she wants to be home with her kids. She loves her job, but she rather, instead of running the 9 to 5 and traveling, for that, her corporate job, she'd rather be working a 9 to 5 and traveling for Beachbody all the time. So she does talk about it in that sense. Again, it could be so little and so small, but definitely share more about it. They Sunday nights are usually a good night to do your call to actions for coaching when everyone's kind of winding down, really pissed off that it's Monday, they got to get up and go to work. Well, do your coaching post then. And then Monday morning, an idea you could do is, if you are one of the lucky ones that are able to work this business full time from home, or if you're kind of like me where you're part time, and you're home, Monday morning, post a picture of you, you know, saying how much you love waking up Monday, waking up, looking forward to the week, and Mondays are a fresh start for you, and that you don't have to wake up for somebody else, and you wake up for yourself. So things like that, to the benefits of working from home on a Monday morning, because that's when everyone's getting up to go to work, and that's at that point where they need that little pick me up, that little motivation from you. Um, the second one is that you don't believe in yourself. Okay, guys, we have to believe in ourselves, right? Because if we don't believe in ourselves, how is anybody else going to believe in us? Okay. And if you don't believe in yourself, then we need to work on yourself first before you can give yourself to everybody else, right? Because you need to know who you are, where you stand, what you want in life. But you want to ask yourself, why don't you believe in yourself? I know a lot of times we ask this, especially when we're first coaches, why doesn't anyone want to be a coach with me? Why doesn't anyone want to be in my challenge group? Why don't they want to be on my team? We can ask these questions, why, but at the end of the day, we really don't know. But at the same time, you want to work on yourself, and you have to believe in yourself. And when you believe in yourself, that shows through, your confidence in your posts, the confidence in your workouts, and showing up every single day. I will tell you, the number one thing that has gotten me to successful legend is being consistent. Even and it really kicked up a notch. I mean, when I was pregnant with my son, and I was consistent and showed up every single day, I literally hit Success Club before I had my son, and I think I still ended up at Success Club done after I had my son in July. And you go through the seasons, but you have to believe in yourself. And to be a good coach is you have to educate yourself, just like any other job, whatever your career is. Like, I couldn't be a dental hygienist just because it looks nice. I had to go to school for that. I had to educate myself. And while I was in school, I still need to educate myself. And today, and continuing, so I can keep my license, I still have to educate myself by going for continuing education courses. So we're always learning. And we learn best by doing. Do your own research. Do not rely on Amanda to do this for you. This is your business. Amanda has her own business, right? And I have my own business. She's not going to run my business for me. She's not going to run your business for you. She can't micromanage you because she's got to run her own. She's here to help you, provide all the trainings she can for you, obviously doing team, hosting these awesome team calls, and providing whatever content she can for you guys to help you. But she can't do the work for you. She can't make you do it. You have to take the initiative to do it. And if you want to be that rock star coach, then you need to be a rock star coach yourself. You need to take the initiative to do things on your own. So if you want to host a call, go host a call. You don't have to ask Amanda for permission to run your own call. You don't have to ask her permission to run your own Emerald Push group or your own challenge group. When I first started as a coach, Nicole was great. Obviously, I asked her 1,000,000,001 questions, but I also went out and I sat there, and one, because I had nothing else to do. I'm one of those people that probably I live and breathe Beachbody. I will admit that. So, I used to sit there and just watch like YouTube videos all day long. I taught myself about placement legs, where to place your spouse, what it meant to be a weak leg and a strong leg. Because when I asked Nicole, she had no clue. And still to this day, Nicole always asks me questions as I have the answers and she does not. So sometimes I want to go tell her, GTS, go Google that shit. But I love her too much. So I just give her the answers. So and when I first became a coach and started running my own challenge groups, it held me accountable as a coach. right? Because you have to show up every single day. There's other people that are like your challengers. They signed up to be with you, not with you, Amanda, or with your upline. They signed up to be with you, and they're just waiting and for you for the directions, right? Because they don't know what the hell they're doing. That's why you were their coach. Um, Again, just and my goal too, after kind of doing all this stuff and being a better leader, like I'm going to set Sundays as my nights to kind of sit down and just watch training videos to better educate myself so I can be a better leader for my team. um, Again, that all goes with leveling up so you can be a better coach, to like step it up and get together with other people, and make sure you're doing your personal development too, and finding books that work for you. If you start reading a book and you hate it and you don't like it, then don't continue reading it, because then it's not going to do anything for you. I will 100% admit I struggle with personal development, and I think that's why I put it off for so long. And it wasn't until I started to find books for me. I will admit I am not a religious person, but by any means. I do have a hard time connecting to certain personal development books. So what works for someone like for you it may not work for me, and vice versa. But just find books on topics that and talk to people on your team, or if you're in that Boss Babes group, which is phenomenal, by the way. Ask them. There's going to be other people like you in there that can give you good suggestions. Ashley Lachlan did recommend Be Obsessed or Be Average, and she said that was a game changer for her business. So I am adding that to my list. My goal is to finish whatever books I have right now and then move on. Okay. Do we have any questions so far? How are we doing? All right? Yeah? Okay. All I can see
You're
is
doing
Amanda. So,
awesome. Yeah, you're doing
okay.
awesome. It's 7:40, so 10:40 for you. So I don't know
Okay.
if that helps you.
All right. No, it's fine. I'll just keep going. All right.
Okay.
So one of the so the little questions you might ask yourself, well, I don't know how to attract people. Yes, we all, and again, I will admit I suck at social media. I'm the number one person to tell you that I hate social media, but I only do it for Beachbody. I look at it as a business. Okay, this is how I run my business. This is the reason why I post all this stuff on social media is for my business. I don't do it for personal pleasure or because I give a crap about what anybody else thinks or what their opinion is. I really don't care. Even when I do polls all the time, I say and all the time, just like I really don't care what everyone else says. Or even it's like, do I wear these boots or these boots? Well, I really don't care what everyone says. It's just for my business. So again, you want to be specific, be you, be authentic. Again, I know sometimes we say fake it till you make it. Definitely do that, because if you think yourself as a, top 10, elite premier coach, then you're going to act like that, and people are going to come and it's going to come off that way. You may know what's going on, but people that are following you, they don't know you really only have a team of like 3 people. They don't know that, right? So just pretend you have this huge team that you lead by, like when you run the calls, talk on social media, do stories about, how you're leading your team call. Who cares? It's just you talking to a room. It's all good practice. But again, you want to be specific as to who you're looking for, not just like I'm looking for women that want to, work out at home and lose weight. No, you want to be specific. I am looking for stay-at-home moms that want to be home with their babies and that don't want to work a corporate job or work for anybody else. I am looking for moms that want to make a lifestyle change forever so they can stay energized and keep up with their kids and live as long as they can and stay young and look like J-Lo and Shakira, right? I'm sure that's everybody's goal at this point now. Social media is your storefront. That's really how you showcase yourself and who you are. So, again, that's the only way people are going to know what you're doing is by sharing on your social media. Creating curiosity. Obviously, I'm pretty sure all of us have gotten away from doing this with our Shakeology cup, right? Or, turn the bottles away so they can't see the name. Create that curiosity so people, I don't know if you guys were at Summit, I think it was Nashville when Shailene Johnson really talked about this, was creating curiosity with your products. So people ask you, what shake are you drinking? Or where did you get those workout pants from? What program are you doing? What is that pre-workout that you're drinking? Have fun with it. And that way, you don't feel like you're annoying your friends, right? How many times have we gotten that? I don't want to annoy people, or you feel that way. You don't want to annoy your friends. Guys, side note, all my good friends in my family do not do Beachbody with me, right? Okay. I know I'm not alone. So, I mean, have they all supported me in one way or another? Yes, of course. But are they the ones that are still doing it? And no. My own sister is a non-believer. um, and and that's fine. She just says it's not for her, but whatever. Um, so, and also too, a thing I learned was instead of calling yourself a health and fitness coach, call yourself a lifestyle coach, because you really are kind of selling that is a whole new lifestyle. So I actually started using that term instead. Don't use Beachbody Coach. Again, you want to stay away from brand names. Um, Fake it till you make it. We kind of talked about that. Post about your post should be like your $1 million ads. They should be eye catching, show stopping. Make sure you're using, bright light. If you have to use filters, that's fine. I have a Google phone, and they actually have some pretty decent filters. So all my filters are the same. And well, if you look at my Instagram and my Facebook, all of my pictures are consistent with lighting, and the way that they look. And it's definitely been a game changer for me. Again, I watched a Ashley Molstead branding content video, and it really changed things for me. And it definitely made a huge difference in my social media and the way I present everything. So it's just like a good eclectic mix of everything. So if you guys have a chance to ever watch it, or if you haven't or have done, it's an awesome, awesome video. You can find it on YouTube. When you are trying to create a team, set expectations from the beginning, kind of, send your welcome email, let them know you're going to set up a one-on-one call to talk to them about this, tell them when your team calls are, tell them that you expect them, to start sharing and posting on social media, because if they don't know, they don't know. But also you want to lead by example. A lot of times we have coaches, they're like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm like, just follow what I do. Do you see what Nicole and I do? How we share things, how we talk about things, how we take pictures. I had one of my coaches the other day. She goes, well, I don't have any pictures. I was like, I don't have any pictures either. I don't have a professional photographer in my house taking my own pictures. I said, I literally take the pictures like 10 minutes before I do my post. I said, you take them yourself. So, it's just, um, you just have to set up, you just got to, sometimes people just don't know. And I think as coaches that have been doing it for so long and we love this and are in it, like we forget that everyone on the outside has no clue what we're talking about. I'm sure you guys have done trainings on this too, about creating your own avatar and thinking about who you were before Beachbody. We kind of talked about that before. Another thing too is creating a struggle web, so you have ideas of things to talk about. Again, we always want to talk about the nice things about Beachbody, but also talk about the things that we struggle with, things that are going on in our lives, and how Beachbody fits into that, and how it's changed our lives. About taking more action, or you're saying I don't take enough action, but why? Like literally you have the 4 vital behaviors, you have your tracking, like what you have to do, but there is someone out there that's working harder than you. um, and you'll hear this on trainings, like if you don't ask, then someone else will. You just have to take the initiative and go out and do. I know inviting is always the hardest part, but once you kind of get over that fear, and I kind of use like the computer and my phone as like a protection and my shield, and that like, well, whatever, they can't really see me, I can't see their expression, so when they say no or they don't answer me, it doesn't hurt as much, right, as opposed to seeing someone face to face. But just just do it. I don't know how else to say it, but just do it. Obviously, the 10x rule is a good book to read. I have that added to my list. Another way to get your coaches are to sign up challengers first. Those are literally probably the best way, and where I have most of my working coaches is because they started out as challengers first, and then like months, even sometimes like a year later, they came to me and said, hey, I think I really want to work this business. So really help get challengers, those challengers that are in your groups that are posting all the time, really commenting on everybody else's stuff, and being really helpful and encouraging, and really like keep in touch with you. Those are your rockstar coaches. And then go invite them later. Again, you still have like those 30 days from the sign up as a coach, unless they don't do it as a discount. So you still have that time. Obviously through private messaging, through when you do your coaching post, you want to go message people that like or comment on it, and people that are watching your stories about coaching. You want to reach out to them as well. Doing your public post. One point that I had heard was that your coaching posts are not going to get a lot of likes, right? Have we noticed that? Okay. I did one the other day and it got maybe like 3 likes, and I think it was from people on our own team. But you're still showing up, and you're showing the little things. But in your stories, you're showing the nitty gritty, of you being on this call, getting ready for the call, so whatever. Um, and you kind of want to do about 3 times a week, do a call to action of some sort about coaching, but like basically talk about coaching every day and how it's changed or applied in your life. Again, you don't have to literally say coaching changed my life today, because but it's just kind of those breadcrumbing. You guys have heard that term before, right? Is like breadcrumbing about coaching and being intentional of how you post and the scheduling. Doing sneak peeks monthly or weekly. Again, I know it's like a hit or miss on what works and what doesn't work for people. We just actually were talking about this on our team call the other night. So that is an option of go out and run your own sneak peeks and invite people to them, or do them weekly, however aggressive you want to be about recruiting. But do those sneak peeks and you talk about the different aspects of coaching. Another idea is to basically those topics that you talk about in the sneak peeks, put together in one recorded video as a webinar, and invite people to come watch, like a Zoom call. You can also have it and save it, and you can send it to people for them to watch. So that's an option. There is one with an apprenticeship where you kind of run monthly groups and you treat it like a challenge group, but for potential new coaches, and you give them tasks each day, which is pretty cool. I think that they talked about this on a national wake up call not that long ago. So go back to that to get more details on that, on how that would work. But again, the easiest way is through your challengers, and obviously through engagement by commenting, liking, and messaging people. Another thing too you want to think about is, what are you doing now? What's working and what's not working? If it's not working, then we need to change it, right? We got to find a different way. And again, in this business, everything is evolving, everything is changing. So we can't just be stuck in our ways. We have to change with it and find what works best for us, and be clear and intentional with what your goals are, and set them. And to be a good leader and a better leader is you need to have and be more confident. So what actions can you take? We've heard this term before, is leading from the front. Kind of going along with the 10X rule is doubling everything. So, I want to be a 3-star this year. So by me doubling it, it's saying I want to be 6. That scares the shit out of me. It really does. But if my goal is for 3, then maybe I'm really only gonna get maybe 1, or I'm really gonna try for 2. So if I set my goal for 6, then if anything, I'll definitely hit that 3, and maybe I'll actually get to 6 and surprise myself. It's the same thing with Success Club 5. So stop setting your goal for Success Club 5, set it for Success Club 10, so that way you're gonna hit 5, and then maybe you'll hit Success Club 8 that month, or maybe you'll go for 14. It's just the way you can push yourself to do more, and then you might end up with more than what you actually intended for. Instead of doing 5 invites a day, go for 10. My goal for myself is just to do 10 invites a day. Again, stop waiting for your coach to do it yourself. Doing push to emerald calls. At the end of the day, guys, it is so easy to be emerald, right? If you're not emerald, get yourself to emerald by next week. Sign up your spouse, sign up your significant other, your mom, your dad, whatever it is, to get yourself to emerald, because you're missing out on money. You're leaving money out on the table. And just reiterate that to your coaches. This business, and again, you've heard this before, is duplicatable. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just tell your coaches what you do and just keep telling them to tell their coaches to do that. So it's the same thing with being Emerald. How easy was it for you to be Emerald and you tell your coach exactly what to do? I will say, I don't want to say I push it, but I strongly encourage my coaches to sign up their spouse because it's kind of like a no-brainer. And then again, if you have that best friend that wants to run and do this with you, then do it. If not, then sign up your mom, and you have your two other business centers that you can run underneath the same name or the same, credit card, or and run those businesses and do your orders, and that we always can sustain and keep your Emerald for sure. And take advantage of those cycle bonuses because it does make a difference. Makes you feel good. It's free money. Again, it's free money on the table. You can run quarterly diamond trainings to help push your team to diamond. I know that's something that we're considering doing for our team. Creating success pods, whether it's with people that are on your team or on your bigger team. It's always nice to work with other people. Again, that Boss Babes group. I think there's like always people talking about creating pods, and find people that are similar to you and that all kind of have similar goals and help push each other. Create a message thread, a text, whatever, to help keep each other accountable. Obviously, Team Cup this month is huge for that. Nicole and I have a Team Cup, and we're working with girls that are not as active, but they just keep thanking us like how much we're pushing them, because we literally are in there every single day giving them stuff to do. But it's also to help hold us accountable too, because I can't ask them to do it and then I don't do it myself, because what kind of coach am I if I do that? Like, I have to do the work too. So it holds me accountable. Like I was saying before, you have to be all in. If you really want this business to work, you want working coaches, you have to have 2 feet in. You can't be halfway out the door. If you want to be a hobby or a fun coach, like, that's totally fine. Do not feel pressured. But if you really want this to work, you can't half-ass it, because you're going to get half-ass work. Therefore, that's why you don't have anyone working on your team and you're just have a bunch of discount coaches. But again, at the end of the day, you don't want to discount coaches, because they could turn into potential working coaches, which is great. But be intentional and really look for those working coaches. This is one thing I started doing was instead of, because my coaches sometimes, don't always check in on their people. So I took the initiative to check in on their personally sponsored coaches, go after them and ask them, find out what their goals, stay in touch with them, invite them to calls, because how good does it feel when you have like your great grand coach messaging you and being like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Do you want to do, like, if they're inviting you, like, that feels like, I kind of feel special. I don't know about you, but I would feel really special if my great grand coach invited me and to do these calls, to do calls or whatever it is. Like, that would make me feel really good. So talk to your coaches, personally sponsored coaches, because those are the ones that you want to help get to Emerald, because that will help your personally sponsored coach get to Diamond and so forth. So go find your Rockstar coaches, go use social media, your Facebook, use an email, your challengers, talk to your family, using Instagram. Again, train yourself on how to use social media and through hashtags, and going to other people's pages and looking for people that are similar to you, that would, jive with your, how am I saying this? That would jive with you. And obviously, like, talk to your friends and just ask that. Like, just ask. Sometimes I've done that before, but like, hey, can you guys help me out? If, I have this goal this month, I'd really appreciate if you could help me out. If not, no worries. Like, you also take the pressure off of them and say, if not, no worries. And you just have to ask. Sometimes you'll be surprised at, who will say yes to you and will want to help. And in the end, you are helping them, because what we have to give is such a gift. And we just have to just share that with others and really show it and explain how it's changed all of our lives for the better. So I think that's what I got for you guys. I'll stop sharing my screen so I can see everybody and not just Amanda. So
everyone's still here. You didn't scare anyone up.
Okay, good.
I thought that was fantastic. I'm
Right.
gonna before we talk really quick and wrap things up. I encourage you to open your screen so that I can take a team picture to anyone who's sitting there with their screen off. So that's your fair warning. And then I know if you, I look like this, it's gonna be fine. We'll all be fine. But if you want your face in the call, this is the time. So that's your fair warning. And if you need to get the spinach out of your teeth or anything, um, and then I'm just gonna do it really quick, okay? So everybody smile. I think we got everyone except Christina and Jamie. 1, 2, 3, cheese. All right, I will send it to you all and post it, and then you can
Perfect.
share it in your stories and talk about how awesome this call was and how jazzed you are for being part of such a cool kick-ass community. So I thought you had some awesome, awesome points. That was basically like coach training 101. I mean, really, like I thought it was just going to be on one focused area, like this small little thing, and you just went through like everything you need to know to really succeed. I
Right.
love you can't be all in it, with one foot in the door. You can't be all in with one foot in the door. You kind of sort of get results and you kind of sort of try. I think that just really resonated with me because you're right. You got to show up for the calls. I mean, I didn't,
Mhm.
you got to show up and do the things. I don't like inviting people and hearing no. It sucks. But the weird
Mhm.
thing is, if you don't invite anybody, you never get
Yes.
to hear yes either, which is
It does.
terrible, you
It
know?
does suck, and I think that's what a lot of us get, like, discouraged by is people saying no. Well, at the end, you just have to you have to set up the expectation for yourself that, like, that's gonna happen. People are going to say no. And guess what? That's okay. It's
Yeah.
totally okay. Think about, and again, when you first signed up as a coach, did you say yes right away?
Oh God. Everyone on this team knows that I ignored my coach for 6 months and I talked shit about her to my husband. And I was like, she's emailing me. She's a stalker. Why is she
Right?
talking to me? I said, she just wants to
Right.
sell me things. And that if
Right.
she, and I told him when I finally emailed her back, I told him, if she even tries to mention that shake to me, I will never talk to her again. And
Right.
because if you don't know, I was a free lead to my coach. So a lot of us
Okay.
find coaches on our teams who we
Right.
resonate with,
Right.
but like I have traveled to 7 countries with Tanya. We have been on 5 retreats. I know her kids' names. She knows my kids' names. We talk on Messenger at least 4 times a week because she's
Right.
my coach. But you
Right.
know what? In the beginning, like if I was just scrolling social media, would we have ended up on the same team together? Probably not because we're
No.
so different.
Right.
Um, and it's funny. The thing, like in almost everything, we're so different. I don't need to itemize them because I'll start sounding like snarky because we just are so different. But you know what? Her heart for her team, I admire her love of her family. I'm all in for how she wants to be home with her kids. I love,
Mhm.
or she is home with her kids. Sorry, she's been home with her kids for 5 years doing this, and that's the thing. So like the things that inherently her faith, her marriage, her love for her husband. I mean, there are so many things about her I admire that I never would have known if we hadn't gotten together from just Beachbody. And
Right.
she sent me a free meal plan. And she said,
Right.
here's the meal plan. So I share free meal plans on my team page. And if you ever need one, message me. I will share it with anyone on the team. But I
Mhm.
put it up in my challenge group every week. And when I'm messaging with someone who wants help and they are talking to me about the group, sometimes I'll say, here's a copy of my meal plan from this week to
Mhm.
give you an idea of what I share. So they know I don't say, I'll send you this every week. I say in my private groups, I make a meal plan every week for my people.
Mhm.
Here's this week's if you want to see what it's like. So I'm adding value and they're building trust with them. And I give them that and they're like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Or, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
you know, um, I
Right. So you
really
also,
like, oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
So real quick, Amanda. So don't forget to email those free leads.
Yes.
A lot
Yeah,
of times
exactly.
people
Cause I am a
forget
free
to
lead.
email them. So set a day, like, where it could be like every Wednesday, catch up on your free customer edit or your remember you get free customers and then you get paid customers. So sometimes they can be in two different spots in your back office.
A
So
lot of
make
people
sure,
ignore people like me
yes,
because I was a free customer. A free lead means
yeah,
you hit Success Club 5, you get free leads. Those are people who just signed up for an account or a bod trial. They never spent $1. And I was a free lead. I went and signed up
Mhm.
because there was a thing called the Super Gym, Wowie Super Gym when I started, and you could log your workouts in there. And you'll
Okay.
see it on old like
Yeah.
T20 or old T25 or
Yeah.
Insanity DVDs. And so I just wanted a place to be accountable to log my workouts
Mhm.
so I could see
Right.
that I was doing them. And
Right.
that somehow gave this lady my email address. Okay. And so, but
You never
so
know. You just
when
never
she
know.
when she sent me that meal plan, I said to her, "I don't have Shakeology and I'm not buying it." I borrowed Insanity from a coworker, and then even though I was talking to her by then, and I already knew I was going to do T25 next, my mom got it for me for Christmas off Amazon. So she didn't get $1 off my second program, and
Mhm.
I lost 65 pounds between those two programs, just in the first 6 months. And I was a success story of hers because I was checking in with her and whatever, and I hadn't even, picked up Shakeology yet or whatever. When she sent me that meal plan, I said, I don't have this, I'm not doing this, whatever.
Mhm.
And she didn't say, well, you're not going to get results if you don't this, or you're not
Right.
going to da 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 da. She said, oh, it's been a big game changer for me. Here's why I like it. And then she goes,
Mhm.
for now, just follow the meal plan and substitute whatever protein shake you're drinking for that.
Right.
And I was like, okay, because I told her I buy these Costco protein shakes and I like them and I keep them in, yeah, whatever. And so if she had just been intimidated to come back to me and say, oh, she said no, she's never going to drink
Right.
this. And I mean, I can you hear me? I am pretty direct. It wasn't like I hinted that I would never do it. I was like, I'm never doing this.
Right. Mhm.
So I'm not subtle and I'm not afraid to speak my mind. And then after T25 I was like, I don't know what I want to do next. And I was like, well, I told Daryl, I'm gonna go ahead and text her back and I'll ask her what she thinks. And she told me that she thought I should do P90X or Chalene Extreme. And so the cheapest way to buy it was a challenge pack, and the cheapest way to
Mhm.
do that was as a discount coach. And 5 years later, and Star Diamond and Success Club 10 All Star Legend, 36, 47 months, I think I hit.
Oh my
I
God,
mean,
that's
and
awesome.
I'm some random person that just got put in her office who she sent a meal plan.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just, you can't negate anything. Um, One of the other things I wrote down that you said about sharing in private message, I really identified with what you said about that. I share very publicly about my struggle with depression and my
Mhm.
miscarriage. But I
Mhm.
have a brother who's very sick, who's
Mhm.
been like on death's door for like 3 years. I share
Mhm.
about it in my challenge groups with my people and in
Yep.
my team page. And no shit, we're talking about getting a puppy. And I wasn't ready to say that publicly yet. And I still, the first place I went was my challenge group and was like, oh my God, we're gonna get a puppy. I just had to tell
Right.
somebody, because that's the level of trust we have in that
Right.
private community. And I was excited to share it. And I love that I have that place, because in real life I don't really have that place between being home, going to work, going to school. There's nowhere
Mhm.
where I just pop in for 5 minutes and say, hey everyone, just wanted to let you know we might get a puppy, like I just, other than going on
Right.
Facebook. So having that community, but like the things about that I can share about some childhood trauma or abuse and things like that, I don't talk about that on social media
Correct.
because I have a very old school private family, and they
Mhm.
aren't comfortable with half of what I share that only has to do with me. So it's not my
Right.
place to share their business or air their dirty laundry, as you would say, right?
Right.
Just like I don't talk
Exactly. It's like
publicly
a
about my,
respect. Like you have a
yeah,
you have a respect for them.
just like
Obviously,
my
it's
brother being
part of
sick.
who you are, but
It is part of who I
right.
am. And so when
Right.
things were really bad, I was able to go into my group and say, like, I'm crying
Mhm.
today. This is hard, and da 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 da, and
Mhm.
have that outlet without having to tell the whole world,
Right.
someone else's business.
And then
So
when you share those kinds of things in your challenge groups, like Amanda was saying, like you have that level of trust, but you're also kind of opening it for them to
yeah,
trust you and to share those things. And like and in our groups, we always share, especially when we're inviting, we always say it's a safe place. It's a private group on Facebook. It's a safe place for us to share. Nothing gets shared outside. It's a like a unspoken, oh my God, baby brain, like an unspoken, uh,
Like an unspoken rule, kind of,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
Yeah,
basically, that like, whatever is shared here does not
it,
get shared
it's
outside of
Vegas.
this group. Right. It's what happens in this group stays in this group. We post, I like the other day I did a post about what you love about yourself. And I was a little bit, I don't, not that I was like that graphic, but, I was a little bit more forward, a little bit more open. That's actually how I really am with my friends. But I was very open and honest and, whatever in our group. But then when I went and posted it on Facebook, I like took out a lot of stuff and I was like, I'm going to give you the PG version of
Yeah.
what I posted in my challenge group. Again, that was like a little breadcrumb as to what we do and what we share in a challenge group for people who don't really know. Bye,
See you,
Christy.
Chrissy. All
Night.
right. Well,
Figure
we
out
could
what we
talk
do. Go
about
ahead. I'm
this.
sorry.
We could talk about this all night. The last
I know.
thing I wanted to say that I thought was really cool that I had not heard before was where you said about thinking about it like a sorority. And at first when you said that, I was kind of like,
Mhm.
because I'm not a sorority girl. I'm about as opposite of sorority girls you probably ever met. But as you were describing the things that you loved about a sorority, those are the things that I love
Right.
about my community, my tribe of people, my fitness group, my
Mhm.
team. And so then I started to say, okay, well that then I saw the correlation for someone
Mhm.
like me, right? But the real game changer in that is how you were talking about look at that sleepy baby, Christine. I know. The real game changer though for me was how you're talking about rush week. Because
Mhm.
honest to God, that is how it should feel all the time. Like, dude, I
Right.
have the best thing happening. You want to be
Right.
here, and I'm going to go out and actively look for the people who I want to spend the next 12 months with because we're going to share a house on the same street and we're going to go to all the same things together and we're going to wear the same clothes. And that is really how you
Right.
should think about. I mean, that's
Right.
that's just an awesome.
Or why you want to be with us over the next sorority next door,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
what makes you different? Because every story is different, right? They all kind of attract different kind of people.
Well,
Everyone,
yeah, like
I know.
maybe you like your team because your sorority because you guys get straight A's, and maybe this one throws the best
Right.
parties, and maybe and we
Right.
all have different things.
Right.
So I really
Exactly.
liked that. Did anybody have any questions or anything they want to say? You can type it in chat, or you can unmute yourself before we wrap it up. Let me open the chat so I can actually see it. Yay! I'm glad. I hope you guys all got something out of this. And if you don't have a plan for after team calls, let me give you my best tip. um, Team calls, events, anything. When you're done, before you move on to everything else, I know it's really tempting to be like, oh, phew, that's over. Close your laptop and go. I know. Trust me. I'm like, I gotta pee and I want to give my kids kiss my kids goodnight and all those things. But take like 5 minutes, 3 minutes to just review. Like I wrote notes. I'm on this call. I arranged a call, but I still wrote notes. And I've got a no sheet, by the way. If everyone got their success or their team cup thing, you should have a go for no sheet. Then those no's aren't as scary. But take
Mhm.
just 3 minutes and find the one thing that you heard tonight that you want to take action on, right? Not just one thing that you liked, but something that you're going to start doing tomorrow. So if it's going to be in the morning, I'm going to post something like I'm recruiting to my sorority, then that's your thing. Maybe you write the post or maybe you just write a note to do that. If it's
Mhm.
I'm going to 10x, so I want 20 people on my in my challenge group this month because I want to hit SC40. How many people do you have to invite to hit SC10? Probably 100. So
Mhm.
how many do you have to hit SC20? Probably 200. Probably 200 people to talk to. So that sounds scary, but if you divide that out times, whatever, don't ask me, I'm not a math
And
major,
then
but
each week and break it down for yourself.
but look at if you invite if I only work, let me look at this here. This will be easier. If I only work 5 days a week, Beachbody, and I send 20 invites 5 days a week, and then on the weekend all I do is respond and follow up and make sure I'm message, getting everything ready for the rest of the week, because I like a regroup day myself and a family day. So if I do 5 days and then I spend and I send 20 invites those 5 days, that is 100 people a week. And if you do that 4 weeks out of the month, that's 400 people in a month. So if you look at it like 20 invites a day is not as scary as 400 invites a month. If I told you to
Mhm.
go invite 400 people this month, you're probably like, what? But if I said, I challenge you to go tomorrow to your stories, scroll to the very bottom so you can see who's watching them, pick like your oldest story in the morning, go to the very bottom, see who's watching them. And if they're not a coach or they're not on your team already, send them an invite, the first 20. That's a great action step that you can start doing tomorrow, and set a timer, 10 minutes. For
Mhm.
me, I have to force myself to only send the invites and not try and reply right away, because then it's like, yeah, I want to send 20 invites, but that took me 4 hours because I immediately
Right.
want to reply. They're
Right.
not going to like immediately go buy a challenge pack without you because you didn't reply in 30 seconds. Just ignore them, set the
Right.
timer, and make your focus like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and write. You were saying about your thing. Here's mine. Here's my
Oh,
bat,
yeah.
and it's bound in a book. And I had these made for my whole team,
Oh, you
and I
did?
gave
Good.
them
Oh,
all
so
one.
nice.
Oh, heck yeah. Gave them all one. And so I do the week opposite from the week I'm crossing off. So I use this page on the back side of the last week is actually where I track this week so that I can
For
see them
that
both
week.
at
Oh,
the
okay,
same
cool.
time. That way I don't have to flip back and forth. And this is
Mhm.
everyone I'm talking to now. And there's all the things. And you can see all the things that are crossed off on here. If you can't
Mhm.
see, I will tell you where it says invite blank people to your challenge group, at least 5. It says 10. I put 10 in there. That's crossed off
Mhm.
4 days out of 7 for last week. And then when it says, I wrote in myself, invite 5 people to coaching a day. And there's only one day that I cross that off. So when you do this for a week or two, as simple as it seems, it makes it really easy to look and see what you're not doing. So
Mhm.
that, I mean, it sounds redundant, like use the bat, but use the bat,
Right.
because
And then
if you, if you,
sometimes people, and we sit back, we're like, well, why can't our accredited coaches? Well, because you're not doing the work.
and
Take a
if
look back and
you are
reflect on it.
afraid, if you're
You know.
afraid to commit to putting it on paper for 7 days, then you probably are just, you probably just don't want to see what you're not doing.
Right. And you can't just
Like,
expect this business to happen on its own. And some people will come to you. By all means, there will be people that come to you. They're going to be those easy sales or those coaches that be like, I want to work this business with you. But like, you have to do the work, and unfortunately you're gonna have to put in more hours than you want if you really want this. If you don't and you just want to do it, then by all means that's fine. But if you really want a working team and you want to be a rock star coach, don't sit there and complain that you can't find people. It's because you're not doing the freaking work. You're not doing it.
hashtag
And
do the
again, I'm
things.
100% guilty, but I'm changing that because this is what I want. And something has to change. I sat back and said, okay, this is not working. So now this is what I need to do to help make it work and figure it all out on my own, right? Because we all have to figure out what works best for ourselves.
Yes. All right, you guys, thank you so much for showing up. I really appreciate it. And Heather, thank you so much for hosting and
Oh, you're
being our
welcome.
speaker. You added a ton of
Thanks so
value,
much
and we
for
appreciate
having
you.
me.
All
Yes,
right, you
thank you
guys.
so much for having me, guys. Thank you. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye, guys.
Crush it.